It's the Josh and Josh Talk Wrestling Podcast with your host, Josh, and with me, as always, the man of the hour, the man with the power, too sweet to be sour. Josh, how you doing, boss?
What up, peeps? Thank you for the superstar intro.
Always, buddy.
That was cool. Hey, 20 years too early. 20 years too early is what they say.
Really? That guy knew.
Yep, exactly. That's how it goes. That's how wrestling is. Actually, Chris Jericho once mentioned, you can basically do anything. You can change it up every 10 years because people will just forget what happened 10 years prior. So so there you go, But yeah, hey, let's get to the matter at hand. Josh and Josh Talk Wrestling at gmail.com. Hit us up in the hot box. Josh and Josh Talk Wrestling at gmail.com. Today, we got, in fact, speaking of the hotbox, we got an email submission. And Josh, the email was something about AEW. It was about AEW and what they need to do to succeed, right?
It was what they need to do to succeed and what we want to see for AEW.
Yeah.
So we actually picked 5 things each. Just things AEW needs to do to be a competitor to WWE, I would say. That kind of thing.
Like a legitimate competitor. There's a lot of competitors. Independent circuit is a competitor, but is it on the same level?
Right.
No, it's not, obviously. But that's not to talk about quality. That's just talking about commercialism and whatnot and all that.
Exactly.
But which is what AEW is intending to do, is to be the competitor to WWE. So Josh, start us off. What are your thoughts here?
I'm thinking one of the top things they need to keep in mind is to remember history and look at WCW, and that is to not rely too much on WWE. I don't want to say hand-me-down wrestlers. Like someone like Sasha Banks is not a hand-me-down if she chooses to go to AEW. That kind of thing.
Well, she could be if she went as is.
Yeah,
as the Sasha Banks as we know her, it would be a hand-me-down, technically.
Yeah, technically. So, I feel like that term's, kind of would be kind of selling her short, you know what I mean? Somebody coming from WWE or just old wrestlers, don't rely too much on the past is kind of the thrust of what I'm saying here. You've got to balance it. And right now it seems like they're doing a pretty decent job of that. You got your luminaries like Chris Jericho, modern day superstars, just superstars. Here I go again. Modern day wrestlers. AEW has wrestlers, not superstars, damn it. So, Cody Rhodes, but then you have Goldust, to balance things out. And as long as they can keep that balance of old and new, you don't want to be perceived as, the WWE rejects or WWE, former WWE promotion.
Yeah, and they're going to have to rely on that too. I actually read an interview with Cody Rhodes, Runnels, talking about how this will probably be Dustin's last match. And why not? He does want to slow down a little bit. He's done. You can't say he's done it all. He's never been a world champ. Well, okay. In terms of WWE, he's never been the main event, so to speak. But he's done a lot, and he'll always definitely go down as an iconic worker. Everyone across the board knows about it. And usually comes up in conversations with fair weather fans or people who barely watch wrestling. They'll be like, "Oh, is that Goldust guy still around?" He actually is. Because everyone knows who Goldust is, and he was really one of the kind of, in my opinion, one of the first 3-dimensional characters that we were seeing. We weren't just seeing this, either good guy or bad guy. We were seeing this sort of soul. I don't even know. I remember the first time I saw Goldust as a kid, I was like, "What the is that?" It was just see, I've never seen a work like that before. The whole gimmick, was kind of new. Everything. It was just in the promos.
Everything,
and they were so real. That was the thing. I just remember being like, I really felt like he was made of gold the way he talked. He was and it was just really encaptured. But anyway, I think that this could actually be a last match. So yeah, for that very reason, Josh, you're absolutely right. They are going to have to depend on the younger stars. You got Christopher Daniels who comes out and it's he does his thing. Well, we've already seen that. And then it'll be good to see that Christopher Daniels thing. Don't get me wrong. Christopher Daniels is awesome. But you got to keep seeing this new stuff. You got to keep evolving. And so that's where I'm hoping you see Kylie Ray, who's a Chicago local, and she's wrestled for all the promotions. And we'll be working with AEW coming up the pay-per-view. So we see great matches from Kylie Ray. We see matches from other stars that pop up out of nowhere as well too. And then we also see the classics. We see a great Kenny Omega Y2J match and so on and so forth. So we see all those. So hopefully we kind of get the total package is what we all want to see. Everyone likes nostalgia when used right.
Yeah.
Everyone loves nostalgia, and I think it's going to work well when it complements and supplements as far as the younger guys and gals putting themselves over. But yeah, to your point, and Diamond Dallas Page mentioned this too. That's what really hurt WCW was they lacked innovation.
Yeah.
So to your point, Josh, yeah, absolutely.
onward and upward, guys, right?
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree with you on that. I think for me, there's been a lot of talk of this, but I think the other thing that they really need to invest in is an off season. It sounds interesting, right? Like, wow, to compete against WWE. I don't say that the whole thing takes an off season. I say that you give certain wrestlers just at least once a year, or when as needed, 6 weeks off or so. Have them have a heel go over them, knock them out, put them on the injured list, so to speak, and have them come back fresh 6 weeks later. That's what it amazes to me. WWE doesn't use that more often. Like, it seems like they say, oh, you can take time off as needed, but we know that's not exactly the truth.
Yeah.
But to me, they have such a deep roster. They should be able to just say, okay, you need some time off, take some time off.
I blame that on just lack of creativity.
Well, there you go. But still, that's where AEW they can really, I think, especially when they don't have this kind of exclusivity. I hope that we do see something like that where they are getting off seasons and they do bring the part timer back for 6 weeks or so. But it's a reverse Brock Lesnar where they show up, they do the job for 6 weeks, and they're putting maybe some people over, putting themselves over. I get it, but as far as like holding a world title for the whole year and wrestling 3 or 4 times, I don't know. So hopefully that we do see these off seasons and they're used properly. It'll give wrestlers a break. I think when wrestlers have a break, they're much healthier. You're going to see better.
They do better.
They're going to have better products. And like AEW, in fact, that same interview I was mentioning with Cody Reynolds, they've mentioned it'll be a live television series, 2 hours, TNT. It looks like Tuesday nights starting in October. So yeah, and then they've also mentioned that they're not going to have any live events. There won't be any house shows for AEW, at least starting off, right? So there's that. So I think keeping the wrestlers healthy and having this type of off season, not where maybe the whole show takes an off season, but have certain workers when they need to or when they want to, with again within the agreed upon contract, or there's some other things that are happening, just give them time to deal with it. Give them 6 weeks off here and there, and I think that'll keep the wrestlers fresh, and I think it's going to make better wrestling and a better product overall.
Absolutely. That was the point I was going to make. Yeah. Like, whether Vince wants to believe it or not, you're just going to get a better product if you rest these guys up. They're gonna be more willing to push themselves if they're only wrestling here and there. You know what I mean? Like these New Japan guys, you don't have Kenny Omega going up against someone like Rainmaker all the time. You know what I mean? Like, and that not only adds to the value of the event, of course, because, you're not oversaturating the market, but those guys are able to really go out there and really give it their all because they know they're not going to have to do it the next week and the next week. And with the driving and just being on the road.
Or they didn't have to do it the previous week.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean,
they
talk about all the time wrestling injured, but I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, I think that'd be great. And I mean, whether you're talking about like a personal off season or personal time off for wrestlers where it's rotated, or whether there's like a company wide off season, I think if there was maybe a company wide off season, that could be really interesting. Can you
kind of have their WrestleMania in April, maybe come back in late summer or something as it
like
traditionally
that.
was.
And give it more sport like feel.
Yeah.
Because you hear about people saying, oh, baseball's coming back. You could be like, oh, wrestling's coming back. And, you build up that anticipation. A lot of wrestling is about the hype and the pageantry and the anticipation, I feel. Yeah. And I'm just, I like thinking about it, I'm imagining, like, you're just like, oh, you get chills. People will have reactions when the new teaser comes out. Yeah. And it's Jon Moxley standing there with barbed wire or something. It's like AEW's coming back this fall or whatever, April or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah. Well, they could actually do it, back in the day, it was sort of April after that's when they had WrestleMania, was kind of the last hurrah before people went out, and traditionally back in the day when people would stay outdoors, they wouldn't go to wrestling events, but when fall, late summer rolled around and winter, that's when they would go to wrestling shows. So it's almost like you give them that sort of traditional time off where you could allow for baseball programming. Or NBA programming during that time, since it is TNT, probably more NBA.
Yeah, there you go.
Where TBS is more baseball, or MLB, I should say. But anyway, I mean, that's an interesting point. Like, maybe have a whole off season. I think, though, if you want to be a legitimate competitor, you got to go year round. But I think that you can still give your staff, and I'm talking back office, I'm talking workers themselves. I'm gonna stay with having, as far as like the off season and whatnot, sort of personal time off. I'm gonna stay with more of the personal time off. But you bring up a good point. Like, some of these guys and gals are doing things like movies and whatnot. It'd be great to say, hey, our main guy here or main gal here's got 3 months off. They can film then. There's a lot of housekeeping stuff you get done. But again, you could still do that. If you load your roster, just kind of move people in and out as needed. What else you got for us, Josh?
I was thinking, now the rumor right now with AEW is the Tuesday Night Dynamite, or whatever the show is ultimately called, is going to be TV 14. And we know that, of course, Raw and SmackDown are TV PG.
Yeah.
So it seems AEW is pushing kind of a slightly edgier product, which I think is terrific because that appeals to like older fans. In theory, they can do things that are a little more adult, you know what I mean? Or push the envelope a little bit more. So, but here's the thing, if you're trying to compete with WWE, you also kind of need to hit that family demographic somehow, or at least kids. I mean, you look at the audience nowadays. Versus back in the day, it was like 14-year-olds, 16-year-olds. You'd see them in the audience in the Attitude Era and whatnot. But now, today, it's families with kids and old people like us. You know what I mean? So you're catering to people like us. In fact, even more hardcore fans, the kind of guys that walk around with their $350 straps at the show as if they earned anything.
They're more like $450, $500.
Right?
Yeah.
So like they're really targeting that hardcore demographic, which is terrific. But if you're trying to be a competitor to WWE, which was the question, you need to somehow hit the kids and the family market somehow. Maybe that's AEW Kids, and that's a separate thing. Or maybe there's a webisode thing where there's something more family-friendly. Maybe they create a Bailey or a couple Bailey-type people.
Kylie Ray, I think, would fit that bill.
Like maybe where, it doesn't have to be overly cheesy like John Cena. But it can be like, here's kind of the good guy. You know what I mean? Like, he's not a cheese ball, but, because it's AEW, I'd like to think that they're still not going to insult our intelligence or be super cheesy with it. I'd like to give him that credit that Cody Rhodes has better taste, is basically what I'm saying. He has better taste than Vince McMahon, I would say. So, well, maybe. We'll see, right? But I'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's the son of a plumber, right? Or the son of a plumber.
Right.
Anyway, point is, you need to hit more demographics than what we're seeing right now. As much as I would love to have just the show cater to people like me, if you want to compete with WWE, you got to hit that family market somehow, somehow.
If not for viewership, for money.
Yeah.
I mean, think about this. I read about this in a Kevin Nash interview recently. You go to an independent show. I show up with my buddy. I spent the money on the ticket, and that's it. He maybe got a beer or something, so he helped out the venue. But that's all he made the money off of. Off us was like just with. The money, the price we paid for the ticket. And now that ticket, some of it's going to the facilities and so on and so forth. And of course the workers.
Right.
So the actual wrestling federation itself is not making as much as it maybe needs to. That being said, you have to think about when you go to these, you go to, as far like the Allstate Arena, you see his families that go to pay-per-views. The kids are buying shirts. They're buying all these other merchandise. I do think that, they obviously cater to more a younger audience because that's where the money is.
Right.
They are the ones that are buying it. They sort of talked mom and dad into...
Unfortunately, yeah, kids have a lot of buying power, especially these days.
Yeah, exactly. So they talk to their parents about that, and they're off to the race. They'll buy them some stuff. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like, can AEW do that? If not they have to for money. They're working on advertisers, and maybe they just want to, as far as hit that niche, and hopefully that niche will go forward with it. The other thing too is their pay-per-views are $50.
Woo.
Those are a little more, and hey, I think it could be worth it.
Hardcore fans might pay it,
Right, but I think people are going to immediately start streaming again.
Yeah.
Because I think now we're so used to $10 a month and basically getting garbage. It's like it's kind of like WWE is becoming the McDonald's of pro wrestling. It's just
totally.
mass-produced garbage, and it sucks because there's some good ingredients in there, But yeah, no, I mean, you're absolutely right. Like, they've got to cater to a lot of demographics. I think you can make good wrestling TV PG. I just don't. I think we've just been seeing this recycled kind of stuff over and over and over and over and over. The main events turning into tag team matches. It's like that's kind of an old familiar tale, but like think the way they're doing it, they're using it like the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
We're kind of feeling like not satisfied.
Yeah.
You know, and here's the thing, they got to really be on their toes because you've got AEW. Again, they've had one pay-per-view, so I don't know if they're an actual viable threat quite yet, but they are getting enough interest that they got people talking. But yeah, the other thing too is like you have to think about the independent circuit. I go to independent shows all the time, and 5 years ago I could get a seat anywhere. Now it's rare that it's not standing room only. Usually it's standing room only. The shows I've been going to are standing room only. And there was freelance wrestling. They do an academy. That's an academy that does wrestling, and they put on shows. It's standing room only there.
Wow.
So there is this drive. So it's interesting. You're seeing kind of like some of the ratings go down for Raw and SmackDown. All this past week, SmackDown did pop up a little bit, but you're seeing these overall lower ratings with Raw and SmackDown. But I'm seeing more butts in the seat at independent shows. I don't know if it means anything, but it's interesting to know.
It's those hardcore fans that they're realizing that there's a choice now, and it's funny because we've been watching crummy Raw and SmackDown for the last several weeks, and the more I hear about AEW, it's like the more my threshold of how much bullshit I'm willing to deal with, it starts lowering because I'm anticipating like, well, okay, I'll just fast forward this. I'm not gonna watch. Okay, whatever. You want to pull some oozy hot bullshit? Fine, I'm just gonna fast forward this. I'm not gonna sit here and try and enjoy
and that
it.
Sucks because I'd rather be seeing tag team matches like over and over and over, like
right.
Which we did. We got one this past Monday Night Raw, but instead of those vignettes, which to me are just coming across as, I don't know, just kind of dumb.
Well, it's playing to an audience of one, and we know who that is, and that's sad.
Right, exactly. That's the other thing too. It's like, so what? I left that, I saw that storyline. I'm like, yeah, so what? Like, you're kind of making fun of these people. Like, isn't that what you're not supposed to be doing? Anyway. What else do you think AEW needs to do to be an actual competitor?
Here's the thing: on the 21st, exclusively on YouTube, AEW released a single match filmed that took place at WrestleGate Pro. That was Pac and Hangman Page.
Yeah.
And it was a great match. I enjoyed the hell out of it. But the production, and I understand this is at WrestleGate Pro, the production was in my opinion not, it wasn't crap, but it definitely felt, it had that indie show feel and that indie show look, but not just in the small audience and the stands and the way things were set up, but also just the production of it, the sound quality of the announcers, the sound of everything, the way everything was shot. It just wasn't on par with WWE. And when I say on par, I'm not talking about WWE's nonsense of punching in on things when there's an moment of impact, or bouncing the camera up and down when someone's doing something. Not that kind of gimmicky nonsense. I'm just talking about great sound and great lighting. And I realized that this YouTube clip that was filmed at WrestleGate is not indicative of what's gonna happen on Tuesday Night Dynamite. But here's the thing: they saw fit to put that out as one of the first things specifically branded with AEW on it. Because All In wasn't necessarily an AEW branded show.
Well, have you ever been to their website? There's nothing on the website.
Nothing really?
Well, actually, as of hopefully maybe today or something there. I haven't checked today, but yeah, I last time I checked, it's just basically AEW. And it lists like the upcoming pay-per-view, and that's about it.
It's pretty
There's
plain.
no roster key or anything like that. I thought it was interesting, but
well, they're still working on that. But I mean, they definitely need to do better than what I've seen so far. It has to be that high quality with great sound and great lighting and great camera work and everything in order to compete. Because we're talking about WWE competitor. Like, it shouldn't feel like an indie show. It should feel like a polished thing, not a product per se. Like, I think the term product, I mean, it's of course going to be a product, but it's just got this dirty connotation. You know what I mean? Like, WWE's a product. Yeah. AEW's a show, or it's a promotion,
Well, with HD TV and, as far as HD in general, like, you do want a more polished product. It makes the experience that much better. Right. But I mean, to your point, that's something they have to think about if they want to be a direct competitor. They have to worry about that quality. Yeah, I mean, they'll have two, I guess 3 pay-per-views, and then this kind of to represent it going into Tuesday Night Dynamite, unless there's not another pay-per-view coming up after.
Oh, after a Double or Nothing?
Well, there's a charity event of some sort,
is it?
Right?
Okay.
I don't know if there's an actual third one followed up, officially named for anything yet, but
there will be.
There could be, but I'm saying before like October. Do you think there'll? Yeah, I don't know.
I doubt it.
I don't think there will be one before October. But with AEW, it's interesting to note. I wonder if we're putting too much pressure on it to actually, we're sort of in love with this idea. Like right now, AEW represents everything WWE's not doing. And if they can deliver, or if they can't, that's sort of ultimately like, are we being harder on this product than we need to be? Or are we putting too much pressure on it to be like, good? Where it's like, it's still just kind of in its infancy,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'd even say it's embryonic. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's true. It really is. We believe. We want to believe. You know what I mean? We all want to believe.
Well, you can't build Rome in one night. That's
the
thing. You can't build Rome in one night.
Can't. But at the same time,
or 2 nights.
At the same time, you almost have to be militant about it, because we're talking about going up against the Empire. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking Luke Skywalker and his band of rebels. AEW is going up against, the Death Star of the WWE, right? It's like a meme I'm sure they have somewhere out there. So, like, you almost have to be tough on it. You have to scrutinize every little thing. I mean, we're in the wrestling media,
right?
So, like, we're going to, of course, scrutinize every little thing. Super fans are probably going to do the same thing. It's Smarks. It's part excitement. It's part worry. We're just like, we got to make sure he's going to make the right moves.
Here, just give him a break. Let him get started, everyone. All right.
We want it, especially the internet people. That's the internet.
Right. But we'll see. I mean, it's going to be a 2-hour live show starting in October, TNT Tuesday nights. So I'm guessing 7 to 9. And Yeah, it's going to be a traveling show too. So it's not going to have live events, but they will be in a new town every Tuesday night.
Okay.
It'll be interesting to see if they can get into Chicago. Because TNA can only ever get into the suburbs. So I would assume that when they come back, because essentially the whole, as it goes, is that Vince McMahon apparently has let local places like United Center know and Allstate Center know that if you let any other major wrestling organization come within Chicago, we'll pull out and we won't come back.
Dirty tactics.
So they don't actually book them as a redundancy type thing.
Yeah.
So that's why like TNA is always like Chicago Heights. So I feel like that's where they'll come back as Chicago Heights again. Unfortunately, or I'd rather see it, in like Allstate or something a little closer to Chicago. But
sure.
But it's one of those things where, hey, you know what? Got to make the drive for it, right?
It's worth it. Give it a shot.
Yeah. But no, to that end, I think that, that's a huge undertaking to go 2 hours live. And really, again, they're going to have a couple pay-per-views under their belt before this thing rolls out. They've been planning that. They've done a lot of the admin work, and that's actually been nice about the TV thing is that the TV network was sort of marinating and sort of on that crock pot, so to speak. They were getting everything in line. They were getting everything in line and to make sure it was a successful execution. I'm sure they looked at like TNA, like, Jeff Jarrett. Overall, I think he launched a pretty good, job with TNA really by himself and kind of getting the money rolling. He then got the proper contracts, kind of rolled to, obviously Dixie Carter and so on and so forth. But Jeff Jarrett took his dad's money and I think actually got it off the ground and got a pretty good deal. So, but obviously it's kind of flattened out recently, although I think there's a lot of good workers on there. So they have a lot of great talent. But anyway, that's a whole other podcast there. But yeah, so that's the thing that I have to think about is like, hey, it's a 2 hour live show traveling every Tuesday night. I think that ultimately what they want to work up to is you got to challenge Monday or Friday night. The thing is, on one hand, you don't have to. With On Demand, you can get by with just saying, hey, we got more viewers on Tuesday night than we did Monday night. So that's one end to it. But that's where the real competition comes in, is when it's on the same night.
If we're talking
and people can't watch everything.
Yeah.
It's like if you were going to watch it live, you only watch one or the other. That's where the real competition comes in. So I ultimately, from a very selfish point of view, would love to see at some point them work their way from Tuesday night to either Monday or Friday night, preferably Monday night.
Oh, hey, maybe one day we can dare to dream, right?
Right. But, hey, I mean, maybe Friday night will become the new deal. Like at some point, like it's always been Monday Night Raw, but why not? Maybe Tuesday night becomes the new destination. Or maybe Friday night becomes the new destination, especially with Fox in the mix.
Boy.
So
yeah,
we'll see. But so I would like to think that at some point they do a live show either Monday or Friday. Anyway, Josh, what else do you think? What else does AEW need to do to be a viable competitor against WWE?
Well, Josh, let me answer that with a question for you. Do you feel like the Authority?
No.
You do not?
No.
What if AEW actually made you feel, to a small degree, like the Authority? What if they really embraced their fans and gave them some sort of official online forum to really feel involved in the creative process? Like, I feel like the days of just people booing or cheering, that's still obviously going to be important. That's going to be a barometer. That's part of the experience. That's never going to go away. But I feel like today's wrestling fans, especially if they're going to keep targeting that demographic that we're seeing them target of essentially smarks is what I'm looking at. That's the impression I get is that us smarks, we're on the internet gabbing about wrestling, 27 hours a day, so why not give us something where like we're not just shouting out on Twitter to our 11 followers. Let's like give us some kind of voice where we actually feel like we're reaching the creative team. Maybe that's in the form of polls, official forums, Ask Me Anything's on Reddit all the time, but create some kind of official thing. Maybe there's an AEW app and that allows you to vote for things. Like I think that another way they could possibly do that is you decide stipulations on matches and it's actually decided, not like some nonsense or
like a Taboo Tuesday, Cyber Monday thing WWE used to have,
right? Like and
or even Nitro had at one point.
So if they can do that with AEW or avoid what WWE used to do, where the choices were like a no holds barred match, a street fight, a no DQ match, like things that are so very similar.
It's like you're gonna pick the steel cage match, or
right?
Yeah.
Like they stacked, but like what if fans really had choices on stipulations? Like they really felt interactive, and maybe if you're there live, you get even more special treatment on the app. Like you can decide even more things. I don't know. Like don't make it gimmicky.
What if they got to decide the finish? They got to say we want this person to win. No, but I like that idea. How about we book based on two things: talent and if they're over. Cast everything aside. Like let people decide who the next wrestler is going to be. Like who's going to be your. Let AEW go for another year or so. Just like feel the fans out. who do they want? Who cares? It doesn't matter if you're African American or female or left-handed or you have no legs. Who is over and who's talented? And that's something that I don't think that we always see in WWE. I think that we do see it a lot. But there's some cases, when we talk about like the guy or the gal. Well, right now I think Becky Lynch is doing all right. But in general, like in yesteryears, talking about the guy, it hasn't always been what the fans wanted.
Oh, for sure.
And why not actually let the fans, who's over with the fans, and then who else has that talent, on the wrestling side of it. If AEW can focus on those two things, fans will feel like they're the authority.
Right.
So it's something to kind of consider. Now, I think there's something to be said with that some fans may need to make some tweaks to a wrestler to get over. Maybe fans don't like this person. If they're booing them at first, doesn't mean just, crumple them up and throw them in the trash. Repackage them.
Yeah.
Try something else. If they can wrestle, if they have talent, I have to assume at the level of AEW, as far as, really anything from the independent circuit on up, for the most part, at least here in Chicago, but I would certainly think like AEW and WWE, you need to be a professional. Like, you need to know how to wrestle. So I have to assume you're very talented because they're not just going to hire anyone off the street for these things, right? So again, it's one of those things where you can let the fans be the authority, let them cheer for who they want to, and then are they talented? Do something with them. Make them the main eventers. Make that the main eventers. And if someone's not working the first time, if the crowds aren't responding, try something else and see if they respond.
Yeah, I mean,
part of it's also on the wrestler too to get over.
Oh,
right?
Sure. Well, I mean, in theory, if they made it this far, they got to be good enough. So just keep repackaging, try different things. What do the fans want? What do the wrestlers want? I'll give them more creative control over their own character.
Well, yeah, okay, over the character,
if they've proven that they can do it. You don't want any finger pokes of doom or anything like that.
Yeah.
No, just let them do, loosen up with promos, things like that.
Right. But yeah, no, I absolutely, I agree with you on that. But yeah, I mean, this is an opportunity. Like, hey, you can have these hopefully intergender matches. We kind of see something like that. Again, it's ways they can actually have those types of things because they don't have to worry about like a Mattel sponsor saying no, you can't do it. So having like these intergender matches, I think that would be something where it's a product differentiator, and they actually have real matches. And some people make the argument, well, you couldn't do like a as far as like a co-ed Money in the Bank match. Like you throw like you have Baron Corbin throw Alexa Bliss into a ladder.
Yeah.
Well, there's ways you can sell it still. You can orchestrate it differently. I suppose like there's certain things you can do. I mean, women are getting power bombed on ladders. You could do that. So you have to kind of be careful, but it's no different than working with a wrestler like Randy Orton who's got a bad shoulder. You have to know where to throw him and stuff.
Good point.
So that's the thing. It's just knowing your workers better. So they could do it. They could do it. But this is again an opportunity where they can push the envelope a little further and they can really show it's based on talent and not gender, not wealth necessarily, or who being a third generational superstar, or so on and so forth.
So TLDR, let the cream rise to the top.
Yeah.
Scoop it up.
That's right. So, Josh, what else?
Last thing is I'm a big nerd, so I got an Oculus Quest, so I want them to do VR content. It's silly to say, but it really is the future, and this could be a big differentiator. I talked about WWE doing it, but AEW too, man.
And WWE is doing some things, but that would be, again, it's one of those things where, man, they're just getting started. To have VR and whatnot. And, they're already
at the ground floor is what I'm thinking,
And they're starting a 2-hour live show. That's a pretty big deal. Now, they have some money into this thing, but the other thing, too, I worry about is, so I think I heard, Tony Khan's father got, $100 million to start. I feel like I've heard some WCW wrestlers mention that's what they blew through in a year at Turner.
Oh,
back in the
wow.
90s. So it's or they run through 80 million or something. But so anyway, I think it's one of those things where it's trial period. If it's doing well, they'll keep pumping money in it. They'll keep making money. So yeah, all our best AEW. So
yeah, go get them, guys.
What else? We got some news bits. What happened this week? Oh, 24/7. 24/7. What are your thoughts on 24/7?
Okay, let's get it out of the way, right? Let's lay it all out on the table. The belt is terrible. Just
the actual design of it.
The actual design.
Most
let's clarify
WWE designs of the belts are horrible. I like the WWE Championship. That's about it.
Yeah.
And the women's
title's not bad. The belt is hideous, but I like the idea. The little nod to the hardcore title from back in the day. Of course, they had Mick Foley introduce it.
Right.
I like the idea. It gives mid-carders something to do. It can spice up things, all kinds of different locales and situations. So anybody who missed it because they maybe haven't been watching Raw for the last few weeks, there's a new belt. You defend it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at any time. As long as there's a referee to be able to count to 3, you could pin somebody on a golf course or the subway or a ring or wherever. So it gives people like R-Truth and Bobby Roode or Robert Roode right now, or No Way Jose, Lance.
It gives everyone a chance to win the title. That's what
a
it
title,
gives.
a title at least. Yeah, like so the mid card guys have something to chase, and I think it's a great idea. I think it really is. It's one of the better ideas they've come up as they're floundering to try and stop the ratings drop.
There's a lot of benefits to it because everyone gets to hold the title. It's also entertaining because you have a new champ. People love to see as far as title changes, so people do like that. I think it could do a lot for social media as well. Think about this: like they're in a town that night and they have a match on the Red Line in Chicago.
Oh,
you get your security there and put like 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh, Robert Roode just beat R-Truth.
There you go
on the Red Line Addison stop, or maybe right outside Wrigley Field. Right. They wins the 24/7 title, and fans be like, "What's going on? What?" And this gets them tuned into Raw, and every that could actually get more viewers. So I think it's a good thing overall.
Win-win. Yeah.
Well, it's a win-lose. I think it's a good thing. The issue I have with it is it degrades all other titles. Because when you hold a title, it's supposed to be a big deal, but when everyone holds it, it's just it's a prop.
Well, it's just a mid-card belt.
Well, I'd say it's a low-card belt. It's not. It degrades other titles though, because
it's like the TV titles.
They'll never admit it's a low card title. It's like the same way they never admit like the Intercontinental title is a little heavier than the U.S. title.
Yeah,
right. They'll never mention that. Although Booker T did call it out during as far as a commentary, but Cole fixed that right away. But he's like, no, they're both on the same level. I'm sure Vince told Michael Cole to do that, but
screaming, yeah.
But anyway, so I don't know. I like it for those reasons, but then honestly, I think it does degrade titles because with the exception of like your world titles, like those have more weight. But I think the tag team, I think the mid card belts, those are just that. And I think that they should be held with a little more integrity. But with the 24/7 title, it gives people an opportunity, but it also takes it away, I think, from the other titles. Not the world title necessarily, but like the mid card titles.
Sure. Well, I can understand that. Well, here, think about it this way: it's the 24/7 belt, so. It's almost in the kayfabe universe of WWE, the champion of that title has to have a slightly different skill set than a regular champion. So it's not, I don't want to say that one's better than the other necessarily, but it's a slight, yeah, sure.
No,
you got to be on target 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You don't get any warning. You're living in constant paranoia in the kayfabe universe. Think about this.
Okay.
So, you're R-Truth.
I see what you're saying.
You're going through the drive-thru. Is not Randy Orton, is No Way Jose going to open the door and try and pin you with a ref? Maybe in the WWE universe. So it's a slightly different skill set. I wouldn't call it, it's almost almost apples to oranges, I'd say.
I see what you're saying. It's like you could have like a long-term, 1 month champion. They look like just gross. They haven't shaved.
Maybe
they're tired. They're like, oh my gosh. So that's something. Yeah, I mean,
right?
That would. Again, I think it will be entertaining. It's the one thing about I do think it takes some integrity away from the titles. But
I can get that. I view it as slightly different. Like the hardcore belt wasn't on the same level as the championship belt because you would also say it's slightly different. People are going through tables all the time and shit. It's a different type of thing than a regular champion, I'd say, Well, the thing about it is it takes a lot to be someone that goes to wrestling school. It takes even more to be an actual wrestler.
It takes even more after that to be a pro wrestler with a title, and then most don't even make it to that top 0.5% where you're the world champion. So along those lines, just to make it in the wrestling and then to be able to hold a title means a lot. It's a big deal. Now this is a title where I think everyone can hold. It's just, again, I think that small part of it, the small part of that creative idea, it does take away from the other titles. So that's but I do think there's more. I think there's more pluses than negatives.
Okay, yeah. So would you say it's more so just the plurality of titles?
Of title holders.
Of title holders, I should say, rather than what it's about necessarily. Just it's too many titles kind of thing.
It's going to be entertaining. It's
going to be fun.
No, it's going to be great. And I'm already liking it so far. And it's giving more people opportunities, especially if you have a stacked roster like WWE has. You need to kind of get some more things going.
Yeah.
You can't just keep stockpiling talent. At some point when their contract's up, they're going to leave.
Yeah.
And hopefully, we see this Monday Night Raw out of nowhere, Luke Harper comes out and takes a 24/7 championship.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Hey,
maybe.
So we'll see. But yeah, I think it's overall a pretty good idea. Speaking of AEW, Double or Nothing is this Saturday in Las Vegas, man.
Oh yeah, looking forward to see how this pans out after the wildly successful All In. I think this will also be wildly successful. I think they will double their intake.
Yeah, we talked about a few of the matches already, and I think that we're going to see some good classics, hopefully, or some good clinics, so to speak, at least. Omega Jericho will be great. Rhodes, and I think the Rhodes brothers, of course, Cody versus Dustin.
That'll be cool.
And this could possibly, as I mentioned before, this could be, as I read in an interview with Cody, this could be his last match. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
It's a kind of a way you want to go out. Although I would never ever say a wrestler's going to have their last match. I mean, you think about Terry Funk. I mean, oh my gosh.
Oh, well, he's just a glutton for punishment.
And you think about, like, I mean, there's wrestlers. I forgot who it was. Someone was in their like 90s and wrestled.
Oh my.
And so yeah, I mean, it's you think about like Mae Young. I mean, she was wrestling and actually taking some sick bumps.
She's a tough old broad.
Oh my gosh, no, that is a woman. No, she is a woman, man. I mean, as old as she was 80 something years old and taking the Olympic slam.
Right.
You know, like she may. I mean, okay, she might have been a little younger, but we're talking even your 70s still taking
even
it. Oh
then,
my gosh, like
and going through a table.
Went through a table. Yeah, right, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, man. But, this, I mean, I don't know. It's sort of talked about how it could be his last match, but honestly, he'll probably be back at some point. But I think it's going to be a good match.
Yeah, I think that'll be really cool.
And then, yeah, it looks like we'll get to actually see what their world title looks like at Saturday night. That's what I've read.
Yeah. Okay.
And of course, the winner of the Casino Battle Royale, they will get they'll get a shot at the championship, the AEW championship against Jericho or Omega, right?
That's right. Whoever wins earlier in the night.
Yep.
They will get a shot at a later date, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, no, it should be, and there's a tons of other matches we'll see, of course. But check it out, $50, and
let's talk about that Casino Battle Royale. I think that's interesting. They're doing 5 wrestlers enter, then 5 more every 3 minutes until the lucky 21. So I kind of like how they're not
blackjack
Yeah, well, I like that, but I also like how they're not overstuffing it. WWE likes to tout this 50-man battle royale, but when you really get down to it, other than the entrances of seeing maybe some old superstars come back and, surprises, sometimes it's just a big schmaz in the middle of the ring where there's just a bunch of guys wandering around, like slapping each other, chopping each other a little bit, waiting for something to happen, things like that. It's not like adding more guys to it doesn't necessarily make it more exciting. So I really applaud them for keeping it tighter. With 21 guys, it's not going to, I feel like it's less likely to get boring. More people can get showcased more easily. You're not just going to have this massive sweaty guys.
Well, and that's the thing. It's 50 people 50 men, because it is Saudi Arabia. It's going to be 50 men in the ring at the same time. I've seen battle royals of 30. Mm-hmm. And of course, WCW had 60, but that was 3 rings. I can't ever remember. And it's not a Royal Rumble where they come out one at a time. It's a Battle Royal where everyone's in the ring at the same time. They start off.
Oh, my gosh.
I've never seen where 50 people are in the ring at one point. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And in my recent memory of a Battle Royal had 50 people in at the same time. So that'll be interesting. But, yeah, it's going to be a cluster. You know, I mean, obviously, I have to assume Braun Strowman's going to throw out 10 people starting off.
Oh, yeah, probably. Tyler Breeze, you're like, there he goes.
Yeah. There goes Ricochet. There's Adam Cole.
Yeah.
No. But yeah.
Baby. Oh, boy.
But So, the Casino Battle Royale, I agree with you. I think 21 is a fair number. Of course, Royal Rumbles at one point were 20 people.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, I think that 21 is it's a good number. And it really I wonder if they're going to set it up then to see some actual good, mini
little
single
moments.
matches. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Because if they're separated that far apart, well, I guess it's also 5 wrestlers coming out at every 3 minutes. So it's going to get packed pretty quickly.
It'll get packed, but I think they can still keep it moving, And right. Like you said, there'll still be moments to showcase other people. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. So I applaud AEW for their restraint.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But I'm interested to see how WB pulls that 50 Battle Royal off. But I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a good card. And of course, I think we're all hoping the best. No one's hoping some people are probably hoping they fail. But if this is anywhere near as good as the first pay-per-view we saw, hey, I think we got a winner.
I see no reason to just to think that it won't. So yeah, I think so. Right. Absolutely.
Speaking of pay-per-views, whoa, Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank.
Yeah. The night of the weird referees, right?
Yeah. I mean, overall, it was not a bad... Overall, it wasn't a bad pay-per-view.
No, yeah.
It was let's just get right to it, because I think we all agree it wasn't a bad pay-per-view. It was sort of what we expected. I think Bayley was a bit of a surprise.
Yes, absolutely.
But other than that, we called Charlotte beating Becky Lynch.
That's right.
So we did. So that was kind of nice. And now we actually did call the cash-in as well, too, but I actually thought it'd be a different cash-in. So we did call the cash-in as well, but just not Bayley. But
yeah.
Overall, so I think everyone overall liked the pay-per-view. Let's just get right to it. Brock Lesnar being your men's Money in the Bank winner. I got to be honest. There's a couple of things here with this that drives me nuts. So allegedly, the workers didn't know. The other 7 didn't know who the replacement was going to be. They were told. They were told that someone's going to come out. That Mustafa Ali is going to get to the top of the ladder, almost grab the briefcase, and then this 8th person's going to show up. Now, right there is a stupid creative decision. Because if I'm Mustafa Ali, I don't care who's coming down the ramp. I'm going to grab it really quickly.
Yeah, you're not going to sit there and be dumbfounded like we always see someone's entrance hits. I mean, you're right there in the moment. You're going to grab that damn briefcase. And it was supposed to be Ali. Well, it was between Ali and somebody else, I think, that they were saying, right?
Yeah, you know.
Imagine how Ali felt that night. Because he probably found out minutes before the match. Was like, yeah, you're not going over. So somebody else is coming in.
Yeah, well, allegedly they kept it a secret.
Well, as
I'm
to
sure
who
people
it was.
right, I'm sure people were talking about it. But allegedly they kept Brock Lesnar closed off and whatnot. So, but yeah, I don't know. To me, it was just like, the thing that's mind-blowing is I'm not against using Brock Lesnar. I don't like how they use him as a part-time champion, but here's the thing. He does deliver a buy rate. People buy because of him.
That
that
gets me.
Yeah, well, that's part of
because he doesn't do anything anymore.
Well, exactly, but he's still putting butts in seats. He's still the buy rate's there with him, the pay-per-views. So that's a huge issue. But at the end of the day, in a Money in the Bank match, the one I watched, people are almost breaking their neck. And have some guy just sweep it off out of nowhere. I saw Sean Waltman, or I was listening to Sean Waltman's podcast. He was talking about when you wrestle a match, it's like the Mona Lisa. And in this case, he felt like Brock Lesnar came out and just drew a mustache, the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
So it's just you hear these things, and it's just or you see these things rather, and it's just, it kind of makes you sick because you really feel bad. These are guys that work their day, work day in, day out. Mm-hmm. They're on the road 300 days a year, away from their family most of the time, wrestling injured. We know all that. But at the end of the day, it's like they wrestle these great matches. They want to be just, they want to earn something. And to have a booking where Brock Lesnar comes out, snatches that, it's like, are you kidding me? It's just a nightmare all over again. Well, speaking of, it's when is he going to cash that in? They're talking about Jeddah, but it's interesting because so Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar, it's been advertised for Jeddah.
Yeah.
So it's interesting if he does cash in, we'll find out on Monday night. Although he did have a match with Kofi Kingston already. Yeah, the other thing too, it's if you get Brock Lesnar on SmackDown, that might get ready for Fox. You have to assume Fox wants Brock Lesnar, right?
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Anyway, I'm fine with all those decisions. It's how he got the Money in the Bank. And here's the thing. You can have Brock Lesnar win 3 big matches and have him make him be the number 1 title contender. Or, you know what? He's a prize fighter. Paul Heyman could come out and say something like, I know you've dropped your rematches, but we've got a rematch clause in his contract.
Oh, there you go.
And those you can just make things like that, But just to have him to win the Money in the Bank, to me, it was like Brock Lesnar looked at all his toys. And he was looking at his trophy case. And was like, hey, I don't have that briefcase thing. I don't have that briefcase thing. I want that.
Yeah.
And it's just they sort of booked it. It's just again, I think I don't mind how they use Brock Lesnar. I get it because I don't like it. For my selfish reasons, I don't like how he's a part-time champion. I don't like how he holds that title part-time and wrestles for, the most prestigious title in all of wrestling. He wrestles 3 or 4 times a year. I think it's a bit ridiculous. We want to see it defended more. But I get why they do that. But I don't get when they got guys almost breaking their necks and Brock Lesnar comes in and grabs a briefcase. I don't get that. That's just what?
Yeah, I mean, there's screw jobs that the fans can get behind, and then there's ones that just generate X-Pac heat. We're mad for the wrong reasons about this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't like Brock Lesnar anymore. I am done with the guy. I want him out of here. I would do anything to get rid of him. I understand that he draws. I don't give a shit. I'm not seeing any of that money. I just want a decent wrestling product, and I'm not getting it.
Well, I'm with you. I'm speaking more if I'm thinking WWE brain.
Of course.
My WWE brain says, okay, I understand the business standpoint, but I'm right there with you.
Right.
And I think we all, anyone listening to this podcast,
right.
It's we'd rather just
Mark, right?
Right. Hey, we'll see though.
We'll see what happens. Maybe they can make something out of it.
Well, and these are the matches where you look back and it's like Mustafa Ali will be a future world champion. Yeah. When you do these types of things, when you stick up for the company, you let them do their thing and you stay quiet and you're obedient.
Yeah.
You tend to get rewarded sometimes, especially with WWE. That's what they like is obedient workers.
Yeah.
I get that on some level. But again, I think it was this type of match where people are falling 20, 30 feet.
I mean, we know everything's predetermined, but at least earn it to a degree. You know what I mean?
But yeah, other than that, Money in the Bank was a great pay-per-view. It was good overall. I enjoyed it. Speaking of another pay-per-view coming up, Super Showdown.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on Super Showdown?
Super Showdown, Saudi Arabia. Daniel Bryan's not going to be there. Aleister Black's not going to be there because religious tattoos, apparently. It's unclear if that's WWE's decision or if that was mandated by Saudi Arabia. And Kevin Owens is going to be refusing to appear in solidarity with Sami Zayn, who is of Syrian descent. So for political reasons, they set him out.
And Aleister Black, actually, I don't think you're supposed to have tattoos, period. I think that's...
Yeah,
but that can't be true, though, right? Because, everyone's got tattoos, right? Because Kevin Owens wouldn't be able to go then.
Yeah,
so it must be a certain tattoo he has that's
or maybe
against
it's too many and it's offensive. I don't know. It's unclear. And of course, no women yet again.
You know, I see like, oh, women can drive now. That's a great thing. But I'm also like, wow, like,
right? It took
that just seems like
so long. Yeah.
You know, we have things that we're obviously fighting in this country as well, like equal pay. And I'm not everyone knows the list,
sure.
But there's things that we're fighting for. But you know, I'm thinking those things. I'm like, wow, that's just mind blowing. So again, you know, baby steps. Hopefully our country is turning into a flag bearer and showing how we can be equals.
WWE is going to do what they're going to do, despite what we say. No matter how hard I try with my voodoo dolls, I'm Vince. It's just not working yet. If I could get a lock of his hair, I think I'll be good. But
hey, really quickly though, I think, and this could be something where Vince McMahon said, I'll give you a 10-year deal if we work up to where women can wrestle. Because think about the history.
Yeah.
Not only make worldwide for women being able to wrestle, but then also just the wrestling history as well too. So what if he uses this as a platform to get to other things like 5-6 years from now when they've seen the money? They decide, okay, we can do this, you know. So I think that's something they could roll with. I think so. You know, hey,
nice.
We'll see. But that's a huge ask. But hey, you're signing a 10-year deal with all that money. Yeah, come on, you know.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense, and that's a good point. The only thing is, I don't see Vince bothering with that. Unfortunately, I just don't see Vince being a crusader of anything other than his own cash. And,
if he understands, there's a lot of money behind that too, because it adds so much more integrity to your business. Again, I'm thinking more WWE mind here. You know, when you do those types of things, you set those types of records, you make history. People remember that, and you are now stuck in history even further. And I've always compared WWE like Google, where it's got its tentacles into every little thing. Yeah. This is another thing where you're actually on part of world history, where you can say, yeah, this actually happened in Saudi Arabia, and it was because of WWE.
Like you look back at the Olympics Games. Yeah, Jesse Owens, and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean,
when you break barriers, and wrestling can say, and Vince McMahon says his company does it, why not? Yeah. It makes you relevant in a good way. I mean, from a business standpoint, and then also from a personal stance.
That's a good point. That is why they would do it. Good PR, which unfortunately they'll do the right thing, but kind of for the wrong reason. But I'll take it.
Right. Well, I'm also on some days an optimist, so we'll leave it at that. But let's. So other Super Showdown. What do you think of the matches, man?
You know, I think Goldberg versus Undertaker. I want it to be good. I don't have a whole lot of hope for that, but I do have a lot of excitement for Triple H versus Randy Orton. I think that could be the match of the year because Randy Orton, man, that guy's like a machine. He's still got it. And he can, even if Trips gets injured or something, you could probably carry him all the way through. That is going to be my top match that night, I'm sure.
Yeah, you know, it's going to be a WrestleMania 25 rematch, and I remember being really excited for that match, and there's only a couple spots, so hopefully they are able to do what they wanted to do at WrestleMania 25 here. But yeah, like I said, like it was really cool, like the opening, like maybe 15 seconds, there was an RKO out of nowhere on Triple H. That was cool. Yeah. You weren't expecting that. But other than that, it was just kind of like you sort of knew Triple H was going to retain, and that's what was going to happen. Yeah. You know, but hey, we'll see. But yeah, with Goldberg Undertaker, it'll be a nostalgia match, but hey, they can both still work. I mean, as far as I understand, Undertaker's not currently injured, and Goldberg is, you know, and he's in his 50s. He remains in pretty good shape. Yeah. So he does, you know, so I don't know. I almost see like a squash match with Goldberg just out of nowhere beating Undertaker.
Maybe.
And then Undertaker sitting up right away.
Maybe.
After he gets pinned, he sits up right away and then chokeslams him or something. But yeah, I don't know. I see something like that maybe happening.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
We'll see. Well, the WWE Championship, Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler. Hey, Dolph Ziggler, what a promo. I like that promo a lot in SmackDown. That was good.
Yeah, it was a good surprise. Good surprise, good promo. I like Dolph. I'm glad he's back. I'm glad they're doing a thing with him that's not like his music. It has no music, and then there's a needle scratch, but then there is music. And he puts the belt on the middle of the ring. What the hell does that mean? You know, like they're giving him some real direction, it seems, and directing him at Kofi. So that's I'm really excited because I love both these guys. Yeah, this is gonna be a good this is gonna be a good show with some good matches, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think Kofi Kingston will definitely go over on that one. Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon. Okay, anyway, let's talk about the Intercontinental title match. Finn Balor versus Andrade. Yeah, man. Oh, I'm sorry, I said Finn Balor. I meant Demon King.
Yeah.
Demon King versus Andrade. Here's the thing. I can't imagine Andrade would go over the Demon King. Demon King is undefeated to date. Yeah. Now, he might go over Finn Balor when he gets back in the States, but I can't imagine he'd go over Demon King.
That's the thing. Like, you don't want to see Demon King getting pinned. It all, you know what I mean? Every time I see that it's going to be Demon King, it almost kind of precludes. Are they going to maybe create a new streak with Demon King? That could be interesting. I don't know, but I totally see
it's already started,
him retaining. No doubt about it.
Yeah, Braun Strowman, Bobby Lashley. I hope they put Braun over. I'm a Braun fan.
I'd like to give him something. Yeah. Try and keep him at least a little relevant. I mean, his momentum slowed down, but he's trying to chug along a little bit, you know?
The issue, it seems like he's actually working through an injury, so
I see.
It's possible they could put Bobby Lashley over to make him like the destroyer until Braun Strowman gets back for SummerSlam or something. Yeah, so
that'd be cool.
This is again one of the things I was talking about AEW, like have Bobby Lashley go over, injure him, so to speak, give Braun Strowman 2 months off to just get better and have him return for SummerSlam, and then boom, boom, boom. Like
come back fresh.
Right, exactly. And then of course the 50-man battle royal. Who? I have no idea who's going to win that.
That's the thing. I'm thinking like
Drew McIntyre, maybe. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I could see that. Yeah, he was the other guy rumored to be. It was him. It was going to be Drew McIntyre or Ali as the Money in the Bank winner. So maybe they'll give him the win in this battle royale. Then, yeah.
We called out Drew McIntyre. I was hoping that would happen, but yeah. So we'll see there. Actually, but it was Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon. I thought we're not going to see Drew McIntyre at all. I thought he was going to be part of that.
He might. I don't know if he's involved in an official capacity.
But yeah, no. What another week in wrestling, and hey, we got some great things coming on the horizon here. But hey, hit us up in the hot box, Josh and Josh Talk Wrestling at gmail.com. We use your ideas. We use your comments. We listen to your concerns. We care for all of our subscribers. And Josh, where can people subscribe for us?
You can go to YouTube.
To us.
YouTube. Search Josh and Josh Talk Wrestling, and we will come right up. Let's get those subscriptions. We appreciate everybody who has already subscribed, but spread the word. Help us out,
thank
guys. Tell your mailman, your hairdresser, your dog. Get everybody to subscribe.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, peace out and take care.
Have a good one, folks.
Take care of each other.